Hello, dear friends. I had the opportunity last night to see a very beautiful show that moved me, and I want to share the experience with you. I am not a person of religious or massive concentration of devotees, but I have been a solitary yogi all my life, and Shiva is the founder of yoga. Besides, all Hindu music touches my soul, as if I have known it all my life. It is said that all human concentrations are used to harvest energy. The difference is that here there is no anger or frustration, as in a soccer stadium, but the most beautiful feelings of devotion. You can watch the full show on tape delay at a link I have left in the comment box of the video. Opinion piece. ShivaRatri 2021, the big festival. The greatest devotion ever contemplated. It is held to coincide with the new moon. Thousands of people participated in the festival. Energies that balance the world converge. Its purpose is to overcome darkness and ignorance. A great mountain of gold discovered in Congo. Davos failure leads them to seek a war. Are they secretly using the Syrian vortex? 30 million people may starve to death. Several European countries suspend AstraZeneca use. US will have to share UFO information. Let's start. Last night I had the privilege of watching live the greatest religion devotion I have ever seen in my life, with beautifully performed songs during the live broadcast on the ShivaRatri 2021 with Sadhguru. I didn't announce it because I didn't know about it, as I discovered it by surprise. I don't follow any religion, but I can't help but be moved by all manifestations of popular devotions, and nothing I had seen as big as the great worldwide ShivaRatri festival that is held to coincide with the new moon. Young and old from all over the world could be seen participating in the festival. ShivaRatri is one of the largest and most important sacred festivals in India. The festival celebrates the grace of Shiva, who is considered the first guru from whom the yogic tradition originates. The planetary positions on that night, which is also the darkest night of the year, are such that there is a powerful natural surge of energy in the human system. It is enormously beneficial to physical and spiritual well-being to remain awake and aware in an upright posture throughout the night. ShivaRatri, also called the Great Night of Shiva, is a popular Hindu festival celebrated every year, and according to legend, it is on this night that Lord Shiva performs his celestial dance. According to legend, Parvati prayed and meditated during this day in order to ward off something bad that might happen to her husband on the moonless night. Since then, ShivaRatri is considered a good luck day for women to pray for good fortune for their husbands and children. And married women usually pray to find a husband like Shiva, considered the perfect husband. This festival is celebrated every year on the 6th night of the Hindu month of Falgun, which usually falls between the Gregorian calendar months of February and March. The faithful fast the day before and remain in vigil throughout the night, which is usually dedicated to the practice of yoga and meditation. The festival is also usually accompanied by popular games and celebrations, which vary depending on the region where the festival is held. This festival is considered a time of good luck for women. Married women usually ask for luck for their husbands and children. Unmarried women pray for the ideal husband, identified with Shiva. It's also a time for forgiveness of sins through various rituals. This celebration is usually especially interesting in the temple of Pashupatinath in Kathmandu, Nepal, where the god Shiva is worshipped as Pashupati, which means Lord of the beasts. Hundreds of thousands of pilgrims and visitors visit its temple on this night every year, forming large queues of pilgrims waiting for hours to leave their offering at the temple. ShivaRatri, it is said, is the convergence of Shiva and Shakti, the masculine and feminine energies that balance the world. MahaShivaRatri is a more solemn event marked by inner reflection and introspection. On the day of ShivaRatri, devotees should take a second bath in the evening before performing the puja. Shiva puja should be done in the evening, and the devotees can break the fast the next day after bathing. ShivaRatri is supposed to be the night of the convergence of Shiva and Shakti, which in essence signify the male and female energies that balance the world. In Hindu culture, this is a solemn festival marking the remembrance of overcoming darkness and ignorance in life. Different legends throughout history described the significance of MahaShivaRatri, and according to one of them, it's on this night that Lord Shiva performed his cosmic dance of creation, preservation, and destruction. Another legend dictates that on this night, the offerings of Lord Shiva's icons can help one to overcome and leave their sins, and start on the path of righteousness, which enables the individual to reach Mount Meru or Kailash and attain moksha or liberation. And do they seek war? As the Dark Forces plans for their great Davos reboot are not going as desired, the great restart, of Davos, due to opposition from China and Russia, they have resorted to an ancient Machiavellian strategy, engineering a war. This is the claim coming from the 2012 Portal Light Victory Intelligence Center. The black nobility families and Jesuits believe in the end-time Armageddon prophecies of a war in the Middle East that would expand into World War III between Israel and Iran, and between Russia and China and NATO. They are secretly using the Syrian vortex to trigger a conflict between Russia and NATO, and a war between Russia and Israel. While President Trump was in the White House for 4 years, the US didn't start any new conflicts. But now the Biden administration is quite determined to begin projecting US influence around the world once again. A day after the inauguration, a large US military convoy entered northeastern Syria. According to the report, the convoy included some 40 trucks and armored vehicles and was backed up from the air by helicopters. Just a few weeks later, it carried out its first airstrike against Iranian-backed militias in Syria. The Pentagon said the strike destroyed multiple facilities and was uttered in response to attacks on US and coalition personnel in Iraq. Of course, it was inevitable that Iranian-backed forces would respond, and they retaliated by launching rockets at a military base in Iraq where US forces are located. More airstrikes are likely sooner rather than later. In fact, the Air Force is reportedly sending 6 B-52 Stratofortress bombers to Diego Garcia, a military center that acts as a strategic location from operations in both the Middle East and the Pacific. It is also sending 10,000 troops to the Middle East, according to the Wall Street Journal. Russia has also been busy making moves in the region. On Friday, Russia carried out an airstrike on an oil-loaded facility in Syria that is used by opposition forces backed by Turkey, Saudi Arabia, and the Biden administration. After Russia launched ballistic missiles on oil storage tank farms inside Syria, the swamp is enraged that Russia crashed its money supply. Meanwhile, Israel continues to strike strategically important targets inside Syria on a regular basis. Syrian air defenses were activated in the capital Damascus and its southern suburbs Sunday night to repel an Israeli missile strike, state media reported. There were no reports of casualties. Israel, in particular, interested in preventing Iran from developing nuclear weapons. In an interview with Fox News, Israeli Defense Minister Benny Gantz just stated that Israel is ready to attack Iran without US help. The Israeli military is updating plans to strike Iranian nuclear sites and is prepared to act independently. The minister said, "Of course, the Iranians have no plans to back down." Short news or news briefs. Several European countries suspend AstraZeneca inoculation. The decision followed reports of blood clots forming in people who had been given the drug. Experts from the World Health Organization are reviewing reports of the suspension in several European Union countries of the use of the inoculation developed by the pharmaceutical company and the University of Oxford. Several European countries such as Austria, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, Luxembourg and Italy have stopped using some batches of the injection, while Denmark, Norway and Iceland suspended this Thursday the inoculation with the drug. 30 million people may die of hunger in 36 countries. Antonio Guterres warned the Security Council that the world faces multiple famines caused by conflict. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres warned Thursday that millions of people could face famine if immediate action is not taken. In his report during a virtual meeting on the UN Security Council on food security, the top official indicated that there are more than 30 million people in more than 3 dozen countries, one step away from the declaration of famine. Gold bounty discovered in Congo. The discovery in the Democratic Republic of Congo of a mountain of gold with a concentration of up to 90% of the precious metal unleashes a massive gold rush. The country's government intervened to ban mining there, claiming that with the gold rush disorder flourished in the locality, a hilltop village of Luhihi in the eastern province of South Kivu. A stray dog enters a veterinary clinic and asks for help. The surveillance cameras of a veterinary clinic in the Brazilian municipality of Juazeiro do Norte in the state of Ceará captured last Saturday the moment when an injured stray dog entered there by himself and asked for the help of the professionals. Veterinarian Daisa Silva discovered a transmissible venereal tumor, a type of cancer common in stray animals. The dog will have to remain hospitalized for at least 30 days for chemotherapy treatment. He will then be available for adoption. Technology. A motorcycle or an electric car. This is the Nimbus Halo, an unusual ecological vehicle. The manufacturer Nimbus presented the prototype of a vehicle that combines the characteristics of a motorcycle and an electric car. It is called Nimbus Halo and will not leave you indifferent. The company itself defines the three-wheeled vehicle as an electric motorcycle, but it actually looks like a small car. The 2.3 meter long and only 0.81 meter wide vehicle is perfect for getting around narrow streets and offers more flexibility than a classic car in an urban environment. Volvo presents the world's first true hybrid armored vehicle, capable of moving like a crab. The armored vehicle can move not only forward and backward, but also sideways, allowing it to maneuver while it is still facing the enemy. It has an electric and a diesel engine and is remotely controllable. Farewell to the A380 or 380. Airbus tests the last of its famous model. In France, the aeronautical consortium Airbus is carrying out technical tests on the last of the A380 model since the start of its production in the year 2003. The largest commercial aircraft on the market has traditionally been considered one of the latest in sales. The company had announced the end of its production in February 2019, in the face of growing competition from others such as the A350 and Boeing's Dreamliner. Turkey does not rule out buying Su-35 and Su-57 fighters from Russia. Su means Sukhoi. Turkey does not rule out the possibility of buying Russian fighters, but prioritizes developing its own fifth-generation aircraft. Turkish Industry and Technology Minister Mustafa Barank said, Astronomy. Government will have to share UFO information as long as people are intrigued. In 2020, the Pentagon established a task force dedicated to puzzling UFO sightings and several reports of extraterrestrial-related incidents. With possible UFO activity long bothering the minds of scientists and citizens, the new agency has only increased curiosity surrounding visitors from the stars. There have been thousands of reports of occurrences involving beings from other worlds in the military, according to former Senator Harry Reid, who helped secure funding for UFO study efforts during his time in Congress. In the past, pilots were afraid to report these strange things that were happening, for fear that it would affect their advancement in the officer corps, Reid said. Massive black hole defies all models of stellar evolution. Cygnus X1 black hole, the first detected in the Milky Way galaxy, was found to be farther out than previously thought and 50% more massive. The black hole Cygnus X1 was the first black hole discovered by mankind in 1964 from an X-ray detector. Located in the constellation of the Swan in the Milky Way, it is one of the closest to Earth. It was estimated to be 6,000 light-years away, but the new discovery made by the Very Long Baseline Array, a radio telescope composed on 10 dishes spread across the US, determined that it is 7,200 light-years away, and it is almost 50% more massive than previously thought. Giant stars in the early universe may be the progenitors of supermassive black holes. The supermassive black hole is the largest type of black hole with a mass on the order of millions to billions of times the mass of the Sun. Scientists are still struggling to know exactly how supermassive black holes form. Scientists for an international team led by the National Astronomical Observatory of Japan and the Academia Sinica Institute of Astronomy and Astrophysics suggested that massive stars in the early universe may have been progenitors of what are now known as supermassive black holes. And that's all for today. Thanks a lot, dear friends, for listening.